So get this. Did you know the Big 12 is good at defense?
That's just impossible.
America will try to tell you the Big 12 is not good at defense. America is incorrect. Spencer McLaughlin, may I welcome you to the number one defensive team in the country per ESPN Analytics, the BYU Cougars. Their efficiency rating is 98.2%. They are 98% efficient on defense. Number 2 in the country is Texas at 92%.
Okay, I have to point something out right off the bat.
What? Defense.
Using ESPN's metrics, is that something that we really trust a whole heck of a lot? The FPI changed without any significant player movement after SEC media days.
Yeah, that's the FPI. This is efficiencies. Come on, man.
It just struck me as I didn't think you were going to go to ESPN's metrics to say, look at all of this sort of stuff. That just struck me as odd. Is all I'm saying.
One is Football Power Index. If I look at defensive success per game on paper, also looking at efficiencies, if you combine BYU's defense both against the run and against the pass, number 6 in the country, namely really good against the rush. I mean, whatever metric you look at, you're finding a top 10 defense in the country here with the Cougars. But what I like also is Texas Tech is 3rd in the country. You see Arizona is also ranked 6th. They're top 10. Utah is at 10.
Arizona, really?
Houston at 11. That's your surprise.
How interesting. How interesting.
Arizona at 6. What's crazy, though, BYU at 98%, Texas at 92%. So that's a 6-point gap. To get from 92 to 86, we're going to have to go down to number 13. So the gap between 2 and 13 is the same as the gap between 1 and 2, BYU ahead of Texas. We are not talking enough about very elite defenses in the Big 12 that I think could transfer into postseason play, if not the college football playoff, when possibly 2 teams make it in.
Well, that is a difficult narrative for the Big 12 to overcome, whether it is justified or not. I think the national perception of the conference is they score a bunch of points because traditionally that's what it used to be. I think that absolutely has changed over the years. You think about when Kansas State has been at their best, they've been able to play some good defense. Iowa State, good defensive team. Utah, one of the best defensive programs in all of college football. Texas Tech realized after last year, perhaps we should invest in that side of the ball. TCU realized, hey, maybe we need to, really place some emphasis over here. And I think Andy Avalos is doing a good job so far. Yeah. So, yeah, I think for the Big 12, the defensive narrative, it's not going to shift all at one time. I think what the conference is struggling with, what you're talking about with how it's perceived and how it's seen nationally, is they have had some really bad outcomes in the non-conference slate that are going to be tough to shake. And I've talked about this a lot over on Locked On College Football. And the ACC is very quickly running into the same problem, by the way, because Baylor beat SMU and Clemson has 2 losses. Georgia Tech could get in there. We'll see how sustainable it is for Haynes King to run the ball, 15 to 25 times a game, and whether he can consistently stay on the field there. He's an awesome guy to root for over at Georgia Tech. But I do wonder about that with the Yellow Jackets. But I mean, the problem the Big 12 is going to run into come playoff selection time from the committee is what's their best non-conference win right now? Probably
on the road against SMU, maybe.
I think that's probably one of them. Same team lost to Auburn at home and was, I think, decidedly the second best team on the field, despite Sawyer Robertson clearly being the best quarterback in the game. ASU losing to Mississippi State, not a great look. Speaking of the AP poll, by the way, where's Mississippi State? And we didn't even. We need to dive into that for at least a couple of minutes. Arizona State getting dropped from the top 25 because of a road loss at the buzzer, pretty much, to Mississippi State is wild work when you consider that Alabama was manhandled by a 2-win team from last year who people have a perceived perception of. Mm-hmm. And then Bama gets to stay in the top 25. Why? That's another classic example of SEC and brand bias. ASU going from 11 to unranked for that loss. They didn't get beat handily. That was wild work to me. Like, Mississippi State's undefeated. They just played an inferior opponent, beat the crap out of them. How do we know they're not just good? I think they kind of are at least respectable, and right now they deserve to be ranked inside the top 25. So I think that is just another. But like, there are just so many examples of the AP top 25 being so incredibly bad, and Arizona State's a great example of that. However, Is that a good look for the league? No, it really, really is not. And yeah, TCU had a big stage, but North Carolina is a 6.5 point dog at UCF this week, which I might like North Carolina in the points there. But then again, my best bets this year so far are a touch under 500. So maybe I'm not the foremost expert on that front. But I think the problem the Big 12 has had in the last couple of weeks is they have had some really ugly moments. There have been a handful of good ones, but I think they've been outweighed by the negative outcomes. And I think come playoff time, unless you put 2 11-win teams in your conference championship game, I don't think the committee is going to give the Big 12 the respect that a lot of people feel they deserve.
Do you think, and I picked BYU in my Big 12 championship preseason because of their defense. They now, again, are the most efficient defense in the country. Number 4, special teams, by the way, 2 things that bode really well for teams that want to win. Do you think, and I want to revisit the way their schedule it looks now, at ECU, very winnable, at Colorado, at home against West Virginia, at Arizona, that does look tougher, as we've discussed. But then you have that Utah game looming. I think BYU's undefeated going to that Utah game, and it's a storyline we can build up going into now 3-4 weeks out from that matchup that I will be in attendance at.
It would be incredibly beneficial for the league if BYU were undefeated. Again, the problem is, for a 10-2 at-large, they beat SMU, a playoff team on the road last year, and they didn't get any serious consideration. Who's their best non-conference win going to be? East Carolina? I don't think that's going to get it done.
Stanford looked better last week.
They did. They did with an interim head coach, and are they still rolling Ben Gulbranson out at quarterback? Goodness gracious, so. That guy has been around for college football for a very long time. But yeah, I think that game said more about Boston College than Stanford necessarily. But hey, good for the Cardinal. We'll see what they can do. But again, the Big 12, I think, missed a couple of key opportunities in the non-conference slate to pick up just any win over the SEC, whether it was Arizona State over Mississippi State or Auburn over Baylor. Even Colorado beating Georgia Tech would have been a really nice one. And to have missed on all of those, and then to also have West Virginia losing to Ohio, and there's one that I'm missing off the top of my head here. Like it just hasn't. Oh, Kansas State losing to Army. Like, you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right or good. Just based on how the committee has, how they looked at it last year, I don't know what team at 10-2 is the committee going to say, yeah, you're one of the 12 most deserving teams to get into the college football playoff?
Notre Dame. Which, you laugh, but they will. If Notre Dame wins 10 straight, they're still in the AP top 25. Notre Dame will be number 11. Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah,
they have one team on their schedule that's going to be ranked the rest of the year.
But you'd rather lose your first 2 than your last 2.
That's true. And Notre Dame's brand bias is clear and obvious, still being ranked inside the top 25. Like, Notre Dame being ranked over TCU is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is. Is TCU wildly impressive so far? If TCU beats SMU, that's this week, right? I cannot fathom how you keep them out of the top 25. Yeah, North Carolina is terrible, but they went on the road and they beat them like Georgia beat them in the national title game. Like, what are we doing? They were a 9-win team last year. Their quarterback is returning. Their coaching staff is still intact. They have looked really impressive so far. What do they have to do? Is beating SMU enough? I don't know, because SMU's not ranked now since Baylor's.
Yeah, probably. Sleepy Dave likely saved his job. That's Spencer McLaughlin of Locked On College Football. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.